Hey peoples, Angry Run here. Today I'm going through my top 10 favorite Gen 7 Pokemon. I think Gen 7 is an awesome generation, by the way, and I really had a great playthrough in Pokemon Sun. I used the tool online to tell me my favorite Pokemon, and it is super effective. I'll leave a link down in the description for you to get to the website. The way you do it is, it shows you 20 Pokemon, you have to pick the ones that are your favorite. It narrows it down a lot until there are only about 10 left, and then they make you choose between what's left to find their places. Put on the setting Generation 7 only, and that's how I got this video. By the way, there's a red rectangular button just below the video. Has some numbers next to it and it has a word on it. Subscribe, I think, but I can't read. Check it out for me. I've always been curious about what it does. But further ado, Pyder, here are my top 10 favorite Gen 7 Pokemon. Number 10. Komala. To be honest, I find Komala really cool. It's really a smart idea, and I kind of refer to it as a Generation 7 Snorlax, except it's not as fat. Honestly, Komala isn't really in much places in the game. There's only one place to find it, Route 8. I've done a lot of training there, and I've never seen one. The only other thing in the game that has to do with it is that Hau has a Komala right before you battle the Elite Four, and every time afterwards, too. Komala's Comatose is also a very useful ability. Basically means Komala is always asleep, but it can hit opponents when it is asleep. This also eradicates any other status conditions. Komala is pretty cool, basically, and I can't wait to get one. Number 9. Magearna. My friend has a Magearna. He says he was just walking around the Hau'oli Mall and somebody came up to him and offered it. I was surprised to hear that, but I checked his cartridge and he did, in fact, have Magearna. This has made me really bothered because I'm filling the Pokedex in Pokemon Sun and I need Magearna. I checked the spot though, and the guy wasn't there. Magearna being made of gears is interesting, but at the same time it's kind of a cheat off Clink Clang and Clink Clang. Still, this one actually has a character which bumps it up from the rest. Magearna is a Steel Fairy type, which is a super good type because it's super effective against dragons, and dragons are not very effective against both of its types. And Magearna versus Haxorus, Dragonite, Goodra, Salamence, and Komodo in the very same battle, there might be a pretty close call to who wins. Magearna's Soul Heart ability is super cool too. Basically, if a Pokemon in the arena faints, even if it's an ally, Magearna's special attack rises. In case you don't know, Magearna's special moves are Psybeam, Sonic Boom, Aurora Beam, Mirror Shot, Flash Cannon, Flare Cannon, Synchronoise, Aura Sphere, Trump Card. Nobody heard that. Don't get me started on the TMs. Basically, Magearna is awesome in battle, awesome design, and awesome. I've never used it in battle though, so that's why it's number 9. Number 8. Dhelmise. Dhelmise was such a pain to catch. There's only one spot in the Alola where you can catch it, and the spawn rate is practically zilch. One way to have a chance is to go in and out of the area because rarity bumps down by just a little when the spot where you fish it is profit, since Seafolk Village accessed by passing through the Steel Expo. Still, I find Dhelmise really interesting. To me, when I hear there's going to be a new Ghost Grass type, I get ready for it. Pumpkaboo is interesting, and the Phantom is really cute, and I kept a Trevenant on my team in Roblox Pokemon Brick Bronze, so you can see why I was hyped about Dhelmise. I love the design too. I know some people are like, what? Seriously? But I like it. I know it's an inanimate object. Heck, it's a steering wheel and anchor, but it's a good steering wheel and anchor. Number 7. Rockruff and Lycanroc. I chose these two right next to each other on that website, and Lycanroc was number 9, and number 6 was Rockruff. I decided to pair them together because they were an evolutionary line. When I say Lycanroc, I'm more pointed towards the midday form. It looks like a wolf, but it doesn't look like a rabid wolf that's been bitten by a Gliscor like the midnight form does. I think Lycanroc's midday form looks more like the evolution of Rockruff, and that makes me like it. Rockruff on the cutest chart is 11 out of 10 for me. I mean it. Even better, Kukui's Rockruff is so affectionate and caring. Also, remember the anime. Rockruff in the anime was amazing. Rockruff is overall super awesome. When I caught Rockruff, I caught 2. I couldn't resist the urge. I love Lycanroc just as much. It looks like Rockruff, but it's bigger and stronger. Stronger means better, but cuter means better too, so Lycanroc and Rockruff are a tie. Number 6. Kommo-o. Overall, everybody seems to be most excited for 3 things in the new generations of Pokemon. A. The new starters. You're guaranteed to get a starter, so you want the starters to be good. A good starter starts a good playthrough. B. Legendaries and Mythicals. These are a pretty big thing in Pokemon because you're practically guaranteed to catch one at some point, so it's better to have these beasts be good. And C. The Pseudo-Legendaries. Pseudo-Legendaries are usually a Pokemon that you get later on, but still really, really want. In this game, the Pseudo-Legendaries were Jangmo-o, Hakamo-o, and Kommo-o. Kommo-o is based on Chinese mythology. Honestly, it looks like it would be Dragon Steel type, which is a pretty good typing that would be new to Pokemon. Kommo-o as a part fighting type is still really good. Kommo-o's signature move, Clanging Scales, does 110 damage. That's as much as Hydro Pump, and it's also a Dragon type move. Sure, it lowers your attack, but remember, so does Draco Meteor, and Draco Meteor is the best Dragon-type move to date. All in all, Kommo-o is awesome. It plays super well, looks super cool, and is super awesome. Kommo-o is boss. Number 5. Tapu Fini. The best of the Tapus, Tapu Fini is on my list because of its overall design and the fact that it's a water fairy type, which is a really good type combo. I remember that I saw a predicting Generation 7 video in the time of X and Y, and Tapu Fini was leaked. Look back on it and laugh because a Pokeduber I watched suggested that it was part of a 3-part evolutionary chain. I really think Tapu Fini is as good as Tapu Koko, and Tapu Koko is known for being the second legendary, which is certainly going to be caught. Tapu Fini and Tapu Koko are both super useful for catching Pokemon, which I do a lot of because I'm catching them all, because of their move Nature's Madness, which takes the target down to half health. Using this move 3 times automatically gets their health in the red, even for Blissey. See, it's awesome. Tapu Fini is one of the 13 fairy types in Generation 7 versus a lot less in Generation 6 when it was introduced. Maybe because I realized how awesome fairies were? No different for Tapu Fini, of course. Tapu Fini is awesome and is number 5 on my list. Number 4. Mimikyu. I'm astounded at how many awesome Pokemon are in Generation 7. I mean, if Magearna could barely be squeezed in at number 9 and Magearna is really, really amazing, it makes sense that these keep on getting better and better. Let me start off with saying that I practically worship whoever came up with this. Mimikyu is so original that you know it would be super popular even if Pikachu wasn't even around. His name is so brilliant and his design is so lifelike. I mean, its cheeks are literally drawn on with crayons. So are its eyes and all the rest of its features, and its real eyes peeking just through the waist is another brilliant touch. Mimikyu is, yet again, fairy type. Not the most logical typing because it will kill you if you look at it, so I'm not sure if it's in any way related to the pink cube Pokemon that will wreck Hakuros as a one-hit KO play rough, but still killer typing. Ghost Fairy? Come on, they should have thought of this sooner. Basically, Mimikyu dominates. I'm so glad that it's the star of the Sun and Moon propaganda. I think that the ghost type trial is pretty creepy. I mean, you enter a room that wasn't there. Does that mean Mimikyu should be Ghost Fairy Psychic type? But Mimikyu is so sick that I'm willing to let it go just because it was able to fight that totem Pokemon. By the way, it would be so annoying to use a Z move on the first turn and find out that Mimikyu had disguise, but I can definitely see it happening. Mimikyu is awesome, useful, and very interesting concept-wise, so that's why it's number 4 on my list. Number 3. Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko is the second legendary in the game that you're guaranteed to encounter. A record for Pokemon for the first games to have 2 legendaries obtained this way. When Tapu Koko saves your life at the start of the game after you fall off a bridge, sorry I should have put a spoiler alert there, it seriously looks like the anime. So one time in the plot in the story actually gets that intense in all of Pokemon, except for right before catching the legendary Pokemon in Pokemon X and Y and all the other games, and I loved it. I would redo that scene over and over because I knew I was doing this for Solgaleo or Lunella now. I think that made Tapu Koko special in the storyline, which eventually leads to you being forced to battle it. Tapu Koko went right on my team. I took out a Snorlax that had literally only evolved when I was fighting the Elite Four. I love Tapu Koko more than Tapu Fini for 3 reasons. 1, Electric Fairy is a more unique type combo. Not saying that I like it more, I'm just saying it stands out. 2, Tapu Koko is even better than Tapu Fini for catching Pokemon. Tapu Fini has Nature's Madness and all, but Tapu Koko has that and the compatibility to learn TM False Swipe. And of course, there's a third reason, which is Tapu Fini didn't exactly save your life, but that's not the point. Basically, when I go for hunting for Pokemon, I bring Tapu Koko. When you're catching them all, this is a really big deal. Tapu Koko is my saving grace when it comes to completing the decks. Number 2. Necrozma. Necrozma isn't exactly unknown in the plot. After you complete the Looker episode, which is catching all the Ultra Beasts, you have to tell Wick and Aether Paradise that you completed it. Looker bustles in and tells you he saw a big black Pokemon that reflected light. He insisted that we look for it, but of course, that's not the time you can say yes. Still, if you go to 10 Carat Hill after that and go through the cave to get to the opening, you can search in the far left patch of grass for a Necrozma. It may take 4 Super Pelts like I did with my friend, but it took me all 33 and I still had to look around a lot without them. Still, it was so worth it. Necrozma's signature move, Prismatic Laser, is Psychic type and dominates any battles unless you're fighting a Dark type Pokemon. The only problem with that is that it has to recharge afterwards. My only concern is that Necrozma is pure Psychic type. By looking at it, you would guess it was a pure Dark type, so I'd round it to Psychic Dark, which would be a killer combination. I took out my Charizard that I got in Wonder Trade so Necrozma could be on my team, and it's been awesome. I taught it TM Earthquake, and I'm going to teach it TM Thunder. It also has Ring Out, which is a super awesome move that does more damage the more HP the Pokemon has left. Basically, Necrozma is definitely worth wasting 33 Super Repels, and that's why it's number 2 on my list. Number 1. I've been hinting number 1 all along. Remember in the intro when I said I had a lot of fun in my Pokemon Sun playthrough? That led into the next hint, which is in the number 6 spot, Kommo-o. There, I said if the starters are good, then it's the start of a great playthrough because you're guaranteed to have one. Remember now? Well, there's one more hint I dropped in there, and that's at the number 5 slot, Tapu Fini. Said that Water Fairy type was a good type combo, and I liked it a lot. Remember that? I've been hinting number 1 all along. I seriously hope that with all these hints you can figure out what number 1 is because I made it so obvious. Primarina. Since I always choose the water-type starters, Popplio was my choice. I started to like it really quickly, probably because back then I was inclined to catching them all too, and all the Pokemon in Route 1 were downright terrible. First Pokemon I ever caught other than Popplio was Metapod, which I named Mr. Pod and never even used once. On Route 3, my Popplio evolved into Brionne, which was pretty early, but remember, I was battling a lot so I could catch all the Pokemon in the area. Except I only got Bagon when I had failed to beat the Elite Four, and decided to upgrade my choice of party by getting Salamence. It worked, but I'm talking about Primarina right now. I was super hyped when I saw these 4 words. What? Brionne is evolving. I had never actually seen Primarina. Well, I'd seen a sketch of it once, and I knew it was a mermaid, but I didn't exactly know its design. I was astounded. I now have that Popo, nickname for Primarina, Hawaiian for Monksio, first in my party, level 92 champion of Alola, which I guess everybody has at one point, but sometimes you need to feel pride in yourself. That was what started my liking for fairy types, and I got Azumarill and Roblox Pokemon Bronze just because I liked the water fairy type scheme. My Primarina's moveset is Water Pledge, Moonblast, Sparkling Araya, and Hydro Pump. Holds a Primarium Z right now, and it even beat a Blissey once, which is literally the most aggravating thing I've ever done. Maybe I should swap out my Hariyama for the Blissey I got. Almost always gets the job done and completely swallows up the Pokemon's PP. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and click that red rectangular button beneath the video. Farewell, and Angry Aggron won the match.